Boy, was that some episode of AEW Dynamite. Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Joe to Love. Fresh off a very good episode of AEW Dynamite for February 9th, 2022. Two solid debuts tonight, two very big debuts, which we'll go on in a second, and had a wild main event for the AEW World Title between Hangman and Page and Lance Archer, Texas Death Match. They went to war. We had a pinnacle celebration with MJF off his victories over CM Punk last week. Some very good action. Also, some more dissension within the ranks of the Inner Circle. Got a bunch to go over. But before I get into review, I have to talk about the two big debuts tonight on AEW. First, Jay White, the Switchblade, Mr. Jay White of the Bullet Club, of New Japan Pro Wrestling, of also Impact, has gone through the forbidden door and showed up on AEW Dynamite tonight, helping in aid of the Super Click as they beat down Trent Beretta and Rocky Romero. Kind of ironic, if you're a fan of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Ab Cole, the Young Bucks, Switchblade, Jay White, Rocky Romero, and Trent Beretta. I mean, all great talent that chimed in New Japan and all in AEW, and was great seeing. Jay White, obviously, he's been in the better part of New Japan Pro Wrestling for the last number of years, but the last few months he's been in Impact number of months due to travel restrictions, and it's only benefited them having them. The Gorillas of Destiny, Tama Tonga, and his partner, I'm blanking on the name, but the Gorillas of Destiny, who have also showed up in Impact Wrestling. This only good sign for them, probably showing up in AEW. So that opens opportunities, and that's great to see. But Jay White, I've not seen him much as of late, but when I do see his New Japan action, I mean, I've seen his matches, highlights of his matches with Ibushi, with Omega. I mean, just good stuff from New Japan Pro Wrestling. And it's only a Kickstarter for the Switchblade. And then, boy, oh boy, this rung a smile, big smile on my face. I didn't tear up like I did when I saw Adam Cole debut at All Out last fall, but I had a huge smile on my face. Keith Lee Keith Lee, first of all, he got married. He and Mia Yim got married the other day. So, congratulations to them both. But Keith Lee, now is a married man, now is here in AEW. Can't get much better than that, but we know Keith Lee, the super athlete he is, 350 pounds, moves like a cruiserweight in the ring, and was one of the very bright spots, or the bright spots of when NXT was still NXT. And then, you know, there was that confliction, he won the NXT Championship, unified it with the North American Championship against Adam Cole in NXT at the Great American Bash, and now both are on AEW or a part of AEW. And, he moved to the main roster, and first of all, they changed his theme song. There's that. They put him in a singlet, try to change up his gear, try to water down his moveset. They did everything they could to mess him up. And now, after he's out of that situation, here he is in AEW, which already you could tell, solid theme song. I heard he trademarked Limitless, so that's going to be good to see. No singlet, which is good to see because pretty much the main reason why it didn't work for Vince McMahon in the eyes of Keith Lee was he was fat. He was too fat for Vince McMahon, but nonetheless, he's here and showed up as the mystery opponent for Isaiah Cassidy and in the Face of Revolution qualifier. And just great to see in a great organization which will utilize his talents properly. And they're going to treat him nicely. But anyways, with that out of the way, thank you for joining me today. If you want to see more of these pro wrestling reviews, click the subscribe button, subscribe on the homepage. You can find these pro wrestling reviews on the channel. And if you like this video, click that like button as well. With that good intro out of the way, not as long as the intro on Tuesday when I talked about Tom Brady, but now let's get into the review, shall we? So the show started off in glorious fashion. We had a pinnacle or a celebration with the Pinnacle in the ring with MJF. They're being introduced one by one. Wardlow, FTR, Shawn Spears, who had a booklet of a long introduction for MJF. And it was just hilarious to hear Justin Roberts, hesitantly read it off. MJF was escorted to the ring on a platform with a king's chair. A king's chair, like he was the prince that lawfully came in, that stuck up prince, that rich of the kingdom, and escort to the ring. He had two beautiful women escorts also escort him to the ring. And so he was escorted on the ring apron. And one escort pecked him on the cheek. The other, oh man, made out with MJF. And it was just hilarious to see. So then finally, MJF got into the ring and he, FTR, Tully, and Spears, they were jumping around in a circle antically. Wardlow was just looking on. The other story of this segment, which was beautiful, was the disdain of Wardlow. The very disdain. Because they're still pushing it, the eventual breakup. But MJF brought up his 2 victories over CM Punk. The crowd was in New Jersey challenged, shut the F up, and he said he didn't even start. Hilarious. So he praised Shawn Spears as the best backup he has, which Wardlow did not take too kindly to. And then after on and on. So Shawn Spears said he had a gift for MJF and pulled it up on the Titantron that a new shirt made for MJF. And it's quote, better than the best in the world, and you know it. A new shirt idea that's on shopaew.com, which I'm sure will be sold out. So, after CM Punk rolled out on the stage area, and the party was Astal for the Pinnacle. So Tony Schiavone got the commentary table and asked, "What are you doing here?" Punk brought up MJF's tainted victories and said that he wants a rematch. And MJF was like, "Whoa, whoa." And Punk's like, "No, I want a rematch against the guy who beat me in Chicago, was Wardlow." Hence, knowing that MJF didn't beat Punk on his own. So, then Punk said, "If you don't give me my rematch, I got some friends and we're going to come down and crash the party." So, Darby Allin and Sting came out with bats, and it was an ultimatum. Dax got the microphone and said, "We're the best tag team in the world. We don't like dress like this, but we want a rematch." So MJF said, If you can find a partner and beat FTR tonight, you'll get your rematch anytime, anywhere. So, except it can't be Tweedledee or Tweedledip shit, hence Darby and Sting. So, there's the caveat. So, there's that. So, in staying with Darby and Sting, Andrade was backstage with both and Tony Schiavone. And Sting was like, I thought you cleared this up between you and Andrade and Darby. Darby said he has better things to look forward to, like becoming the new TNT champion. And Andrade was like, I will be the new TNT champion. The way it seems, I would love to see it a triple threat. Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, and Andrade El Elo at Revolution. That would be very, very interesting. So then we got our first match tonight. Wardlow squash match. Defeat the Blade of the Hardy Family Office. I miss Butcher and the Blade. I miss that great tag team, but I'm guessing Butcher is on tour again with his band. That's just thought. Or he's injured again. Either way, I miss them as a team. Blade is a good wrestler, but this was academic. Powerbomb Symphony by Wardlow after Blade tried to chop down Wardlow to no avail. And Wardlow gets another victory. I like it though because we've seen Wardlow against these jobbers, against these guys who we have now relatively seen on Dynamite or Rampage. This case, we actually got Wardlow with a guy with a name, with a guy with some credibility in the Blade. Good to see. The Inner Circle had their team meeting next. Kind of what you figure. So Jericho, Guevara, and Hager came out separately with Santana Ortiz. They came out after wearing different attire. They came out in street clothes, while Hager, Jericho, and Guevara came out wearing their vests, Inner Circle vests. So Jericho wanted answers. Santana, he basically called Jericho selfish, saying that he's been holding them down when they get some shine or some glory and their quest to become AEW Tag Team Champions, they have to do Jericho's dirty work. And that benefits one man, Chris Jericho. So finally, after all this, Santana said Ortiz deserves a thank you. Because if it wasn't for him, Santana would have dropped him a long time ago. So Jericho said Santana reminds Jericho of Eddie Guerrero. Riled up, got energy, but placed his shortcomings on someone else. Know it about how they had a tag team title opportunity last year, but they came up short. And finally, Santana had enough and went at the throat of Jericho, but Sammy was trying to calm him down, and Jericho told Sammy to shut up, which ants up Sammy, and he gave an ultimatum of his own that, I quit before, and if you guys don't sell this, I will quit again. So he laid down his vest in the middle of the ring. Ortiz got the microphone and said, where I come from, we don't settle issues by talking. We settle issues with our fists. So, declare next week Santana Ortiz versus Jake Hager and Chris Jericho. Will differences be settled? And will they come to agreement? I don't know, but should be a interesting affair, to say the least. Backstage, we got the Super Click. So, Rocky Romero and Trent Beretta were backstage talking about how the scheduled match for a couple weeks ago will happen on Rampage Friday. Cross your fingers, but should happen. Trent Beretta and Rocky Romero versus the Young Bucks for old time's sake for New Japan. And the Young Bucks interrupted and said we should just not wait for Rampage to do it right now. So behind came Adam Cole, ambush on 2, and then right in the middle of the picture, because they looked off saying, looking with surprise, and the back of only one's jersey, the switchblade or jacket, turned around, made known, Switchblade Jay White is all elite, or at least showed up in AEW. Now, like I mentioned earlier, Jay White has mostly been a part of New Japan, but due to the Forbidden Door and being part of Impact the last number of months, and for all the people that were chiming in about the lack of the Forbidden Door between Impact, this might shed some light, or may shed some light, for those claiming Impact and AEW are not working together anymore. So, interesting development here. And then we went from the first debut to next. Limitless Keith Lee taking on Isaiah Cassidy. Face the Revolution qualifier for Revolution. Keith Lee, boy, did he look rejuvenated. Again, he got married the other day, and now he's in AEW, so can't complain. He looked refreshed. He looked ready to be there, soaking in seemingly, and it was great to see, Pretty much a glorified squash match against Isaiah Cassidy, but still was fun to see. You know, hit a crossbody after he threw Cassidy around the ring. He actually knocked Cassidy to the outside, but Cassidy managed to hang Lee up on the top rope, hit a corkscrew tope to the outside, got the advantage, but eventually Keith Lee caught Isaiah in midair, hit the Big Bang Catastrophe, his fireman's carry into a power slam. 1, 2, 3. Keith Lee, limitless Keith Lee, and already the face of Revolution ladder match is going to be very interesting. We already have Keith Lee qualified. Now, this opens for another opportunity because with how much MJF has talked about it, that Wardlow is going to be in the Face of Revolution ladder match. So, at some point during that match, we're going to have Keith Lee, Wardlow, two of the best big men you will see in professional wrestling, duking it out, and it'll be a fun exchange to think about, along with whoever else is in the ladder match, but it should be fun. So then we got FTR, and I got my hopes up a bit because CM Punk was tweeting at Samoa Joe, but still what we got was fun. We got FTR for CM Punk and Jon Moxley. Great to see. We did not get another debut, but we got a pairing we have not seen, I would say, in seemingly ever. Yeah. If not a while. And CM Punk and Jon Moxley, this just felt nostalgic. Both shared their time in WWE against FTR, who of course WWE as well, but this just felt solid match. Moxley was taking care of business at a double DT. Springboard by Punk, Suicida by Moxley. Came back from break. There was an assisted leg drop by FTR for a 2 count. Hot tag to Punk from Mox. They hit a doomsday device for everyone who's a fan of LD, the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors. We got a doomsday device for a near fall. Cash was on the outside and he hit Punk in the head with the ring bell, and Dax hit a brainbuster for a near fall. I thought that was the finish there. And then after exchange, FTR then hit the big rig for another near fall. Again, good near falls. I believe it was Cash. He rolled through with Punk after a crossbody and a con of ice, but ref was distracted. Punk was tending to Tully Blanchard. who got GTS. Finally, we got a GTS to Cash Wheeler for the win. Punk and Moxley get this W, and we will get a rematch between MJF and CM Punk, which I'm assuming at Revolution. Now, I know people will be chiming about it, and not really what I hope for, but I get it, that we're getting a rematch between MJF and CM Punk. I mean, they put months of build into that match, and then to have a rematch, I'm okay with it as long as MJF goes over again and we don't get a 50-50 style WWE booking is all. But I mean, Revolution, it's gonna be fun. Face the Revolution ladder match. Keith Lee's already in. MJF for CM Punk. Hangman for Adam Cole. I mean, it's just gonna be great. So we got Jade Cargill for AQA making her Dynamite debut. Trained by Booker T. She looked good for her first affair in this match. Now, you can tell that the perception of Jade in as champ is still getting used to. Simply because she still has room to grow. And we want her to get better. But this match against AQA, she had some good spots. She had a great shooting star press for near fall. Did good in there, but eventually Jade hit the Jaded for the win. Jade Cargill now 27-0. They're obviously trying as much as they can to build up this streak. I'm curious who will be the first to beat Jade Cargill. It's certainly a question. But AQA had a good first impression on Dynamite. I will say that. So as I mentioned for Rampage, we got Young Bucks for Trent Barrett and Rocky Romero. We got the Gun Club, Austin and Colton Gunn for Jurassic Express for the AEW World Tag Team titles. So some good stuff to look forward to on Rampage. Also, we'll hear from Ryan Danielson. Some good stuff. Good stuff. Should be a solid episode of Rampage. Rampage has been getting more consistent as of late. And that's what you like to see. Because Rampage is the second show to Dynamite. And more showcasing the other storylines of AEW. But it's good how they're getting more consistent. I'll say that. So we got Serena Deeb, who's looking more and more great in this heel role she's in. Here against Katie Arquette. This was a minute. Serenity Lock by Deeb. Arquette taps out. There's that. Deeb gets another victory and the belt up the Professor. Good stuff. Main event. What a war. This was a wild Texas death match. Great to see between Hangman Page and Lance Archer. This was something. So, the match started in the back. So, usually Archer likes to beat down his opponent or beat down someone in his entrance. Because everybody, you know what, according to Archer, and so fight started in the back, then they were fighting on the stage area. And Archer was thrown to, it looked like a glass door or a shaping for one of the tunnels. So Archer was busted open. They're fighting back down by ringside. And just like that, in the ring, Hangman hits the buckshot lariat, which would be a key story of the match. Hit a buckshot lariat. Archer was on the ground, and he managed to get up at 9. Archer was digging for something on the bottom of the ring. Hangman went for a suicida, but caught with a trash can lid by Archer, who's raining down shots on Hangman. Then they fought into the crowd. Hangman went for a moonsault after one of the stage areas on Archer. Good stuff there. While this was happening, Dan Lambert out there for Archer unscrewed the top ropes of the ring because we know Hangman likes the buckshot lariat. So that was a key point for the match because they got back in the ring and Hangman looked like he was going for the buckshot, but there was no top rope. So Jim Ross said that he would have to do it differently. And boy, that come into play. So, excuse me. Oh, so they were on the outside, and Archer was trying to lift up the mats on the outside. But by this time, Hangman was busted open. I didn't see, it was probably during break, the picture in picture. But Hangman was busted open. Jake Roberts hit a forearm and looked like he was going for a DT. But Archer was like, no, no, no. I mean, goodbye, Archer, because I don't want to see Hangman take, or Archer, excuse me, Jay take that bump at his age right now. So back in the ring, Page was raining down shots with a Singapore cane on Archer. Eventually, Archer broke the cane in half, so in a fury, he had brutal chokeslam onto a trash can and used a fork because we saw in the last Texas death match between Archer and Moxley, a fork came in a big play. So Archer again used a fork here. and Hangman was wildly bust open. So on the outside, Archer hit a senton off the apron, pulled out chairs, threw him in the ring, digged up a barbed wire wrapped chair. So that would also come into play. And probably the scariest spot of the match, but brutal. I don't know what to say. They're on the ring apron. The steel steps are set up on the sides. Archer hit the blackout to Hangman, and Hangman bounced off the steel steps. Brutal spot there. I actually thought that was a finish there, but no. Archer did not wait. He went for it. Looked like a powerbomb on the chairs, but Heyman wrapped his arm in barbed wire and fought off Archer as long as he could. And there were tables during the break set up on the outside. So, of course, no top turnbuckle or top ropes. So Archer was on the apron and the barbed wire was taken off. So the referee went over, bent over to pick up the barbed wire and using him like a top rope, Hangman piggybacked off the back of the referee, hit a buckshot lariat to Archer, sending him through the tables on the outside. Brutal spot. And they were both down, but Hangman got up at the count of 8 and got back in the ring on his feet, and Hangman retains the AEW World title in a brutal, wild affair. Great stuff there. I mean, I knew Hangman was going to win. And, I love Lance Archer, the way he's misused in AEW. I just hope they continue the build with Archer after this because I don't want to see him go to the wayside and be built back up. I want him to continue to look strong. And with Dan Lambert at his side, should help. Afterwards, because Adam Cole said he was going to make a message or a statement in the middle of the ring. He did after the match. Didn't say anything. Probably said something in Hangman, but he walked down to the ring, got in the ring, took the world title from the referee, perched it on Hangman's shoulder, pat it down, letting him know, I'm coming for the title. We're going to get a match. Hangman for Adam Cole at Revolution. Amazing. Amazing. That will be something. Can't wait. And that was how Dynamite went off the air. But nonetheless, great episode of Dynamite. I enjoyed it. 2 big debuts and the main event just bonkers. Can't complain. But yeah, that's the episode for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, click that like And if you want to see more of these videos, again, click that subscribe to the homepage. Find all those for your interest. Also, click that bell if you want to see my notifications or get notifications for when I upload videos right then. So there's that. But yeah, solid episode, Dynamite. Very good episode of Rampage lined up for Friday. So looking forward to that. But I'll be back Saturday for Rampage. And then next week for another solid episode of Dynamite. So thank you all. Be safe. I'm Angel Chilling Love. Getting out of here. Peace. And happy Valentine's Day for all those that have someone special or are thinking about it. But thank you all. I'm getting out of here.